We are joined with Raga from London. She's an actor, singer, author, mindfulness speaker. Raga, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Kumar. It's wonderful to be here. Big hello to everybody who's watching us. Namaste, Assalamu alaikum, and a big hello.
Raga, you've obviously had a very interesting lockdown phase in the last 7-8 months. You've been in Bombay, in London, and you're so big on mindfulness and sort of the search for one's own purpose and values. What have been some of the key sort of takeaways, key learnings for you during the last 6 to 8 months?
Well, I would think, it's so connected to everything that I have learned. I got into mindfulness by default. I had my facial paralysis in the year 2000. I got into Mindpa, into meditation and mindfulness. And I just realized it's all about really getting to know yourself. And if you really are authentic and if you can be brave, because if you ask anyone, especially adults, right? They're like children masquerading as adults. You ask anyone how authentic you are. Is there anyone you can really be yourself with? And I think people would name maybe one or two, or maybe not even that. So the pandemic is quite interesting because it brings you back to your own self. And that's why people are so jittery, because we've always had these distractions, be it going out and shopping, or our tags, or these professional tags that we have. And we seek completion, be it relationships, be it tags, be it our children, or be it these routines. Anything that takes me away from myself is good. And suddenly that's taken away from people. And that's why they're just absolutely like a fish out of water. Even keeping aside financial, people have had a whole lot of financial issues. Yes, people have lost jobs. But being a mindfulness coach, I have so many clients, Kumar, and it's so interesting. I've seen people who have much little, who are a little more connected with themselves, and they're saying, listen, I had nothing and I think I'll be okay. While people who have it all, according to the world, right, the social definitions, have it all, are really jittery because they're so connected to these external tags. And it brings us back to our childhood, because we've been conditioned that if I have to impress you, I have to impress you with these certain definitions. And if we really want to thrive in life, we have to really let go of social definitions and say, no, what am I all about? I'm not really going to follow culture. So leading from that, I would say being still, no matter what tragedy you're going through. I mean, I was just telling you before the interview that I had the biggest tragedy of my life. I lost my father during the pandemic to COVID. And it always brings me back to any tragedy, for that matter, is actually a breakthrough. So when people say, what are your breakthroughs? People talk about awards, people talk about rewards, people talk about financial gains, but your breakthrough is a crisis in life. Wow, this is my portal to be still. And the greatest reason why you want to be still is that's which will lead you to being adaptable. Adaptability is so important. But people are saying the more I try, the more I work hard, is when I'll be adaptable. But not at all. In fact, it'll only come when you just surrender and you let go. Being minimalistic, being grateful for whatever you have. So for people who are having financial problems would tell me, no, but I have nothing to be grateful for. And I said, listen, I'm talking about a personal tragedy. And so that brings us back to the simple things in life. Thank goodness we are healthy. Thank goodness that we have family that's healthy. And I used to affirm that all the time to fight my fears, right? Because I live in London and my parents live in Mumbai. And it was always weighing on my mind. But as they say, gratitude is the only emotion, right, that can replace fear. So at all times I was doing that. And when my father passed on, I said, my goodness, I really don't know how to be grateful, because he could, he was looking after himself. He only got COVID when he got into the hospital. But even then, there's a place for gratitude. Thank goodness he got a hospital bed. Thank goodness he had doctors who could look after him. Thank goodness he was provided all the care and that he did not suffer in pain. And thank goodness we could perform all the rites. So, there is a place for gratitude at all times. And that's, it's interesting how we've just started talking about gratitude. So it's just come naturally. But Kumar, I have a lot of people who come up to me with different reasons, mothers who cannot have children, men who are not married, who want to, they have a lovely career and they're like, I can't find the right woman, or vice versa. And they say, I really don't know how to feel grateful. But gratitude is much more than what our grandparents or our parents would always tell us, right? That shukar karo, it's not just spiritual, it's religious, it's spiritual, but it's deeply scientific, as you will say it better than me, what it does to the brain, that you consistently focus on something that makes you feel good, something that you have, and it instantly lifts you up, that you can see instantly. And then it also does brilliant things to your brain and gives you beautiful glasses to see the world through. Right now, I'm seeing these beautiful blue mountains, which I love. So you don't always have to see through rose-colored glasses. Blue is beautiful too.
I think you made some excellent points, Raga, especially about tags. We, our audience of, leaders in corporates, many times we start taking those tags as our being, as what really defines us completely, right? Forgetting that there's so many other layers and layers which are beneath. And the tag is just one part of our life, just one definition. And, when you talk about mindfulness in your practice and, as a coach, as a speaker, you've done some amount of work with His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, and you've done several other, lovely pieces of research and sort of hands-on activities in mindfulness, in the practice of gratitude. What are some of your sort of mantras that you live by, not just in the pandemic, but in general as well?
Thank you. That's a beautiful question, because everything that I speak about, Kumar, I love to speak about through my experience, that this works for me. You are like a scientist. There are so many scientists out there who are so particular about research, and it's important, especially when there are people, especially the naysayers, like, really, does this make sense? And then you have the research to prove them. But when I speak with a person who's going through a crisis across the table, he or she wants to know, does it really, really work? And even if I say it works, on an emotional level, if I really believe it, it will travel to you. That's how emotions work. So working with Holiness, Dalai Lama is like working with a child. He is so connected with being a child. So he would say, it's not rocket science. Close your eyes and just breathe. Close your eyes and breathe. But it's so true. You tell anyone who's going through anxiety, who is worried about any issue in life, be still. The greatest problems have actually simple solutions. But because we are in this unbelievable world where everything has to seem complicated, and then we think, I think there's magic here. If it's complicated, there has to be magic. But actually, no, it's life is simple. We complicate it. The lessons are all out there. So some mindfulness practices that I really live by is just trying to be true to myself at all times. Like I was saying, the tags, it's so connected to our childhood. We were brought up, all of us, globally, division. Instantly, Kumar is separate from Raageshwari. So that means, as a child, if Kumar did better than me in school, I instantly was reminded by my teacher, oh, he's doing so well. Or my parents telling me, oh, he's doing so well. And why can't you? So it's interesting how that trains individuals, and especially children, to seek approval. And with that, the change begins. So my motivation is always extrinsic. And that's why you see leaders across the world where the motivation is always extrinsic. Pandemic as well. There you go. All the external stuff is gone. Now, how do you motivate yourself? While Panchatantra did it beautifully, they believed that, no, I want to only focus on the inner world. For me, it's about self-discovery. I want to tell children, if you have a problem, I don't want you to go elsewhere and look outside. The kingdom is within. Can you close your eyes and look for solutions within? Peak in your potential. Have a growth mindset. So if I want to be a musician, I really want to enjoy making fabulous music and then collaborate. And if you like it, fantastic. If you don't like it, perhaps it's not the right time today. But having that mindset rather than this anxiety, will I make it and will I get a Grammy? And I think most of us are living with that anxiety on a day-to-day basis. And it's all conditions. Men think, oh, I won't get a great girl if I don't have that car and that penthouse. Women think, oh, I will not get the right man if I don't behave in a certain way. So it's interesting that the journey towards really being your authentic self and saying, this is the way I am. And I hope that you will accept me for the way I am, being brave. And that path to that is, of course, breathe, do your meditation, because we were subconscious, almost in a meditative state when we were children. So if you really want to change yourself now, we will have to go back into that state, reparent yourself, gratitude, journaling. At the beginning, it didn't make sense to me. You know how when everyone would tell me about gratitude, especially my beloved mother, I would say, what is gratitude, gratitude, gratitude? But it made a switch when I had my facial paralysis. And I just had a broken relationship. My career was at an all-time low, and I was a career-driven girl, just a teenager. But can you believe it? So I was so heavily conditioned that this is the way I should be, and on MTV and #1 pop singer. It was so interesting how different I am today. But I love that teenager as well who said, I can't be grateful. I have a lopsided face. Mom, why do you keep going on and on about being grateful? And there she told me, let's go for your electrical stimulation, to the hospital instead of doing it at home, because you always want to hide yourself. And when I went into the hospital and I saw people who are paralyzed, neck down, have had a stroke for the second time, for the third time, there, boom, instantly it made me realize, what am I complaining for? And so that perspective is very important in life on a daily basis. And not to say that you want to really get yourself low by watching the news as to what's happening in Darfur, what's happening, in fact, even on the outskirts of London or India, or outskirts of Mumbai, or in Mumbai itself. You don't have to get yourself down. I'm not saying to weaken your emotional muscles, but it's very important to have a perspective to life and say, wow, things are fabulous for me from this place. Now can I build my life to what I envision it to be?
That is so beautiful, Raga. From what you said, perspective and understanding context, because each one's success is relative, each one's meaning of success, definition, and it has to come from within, right?
Sure.
And corporate leaders or even leaders from all walks of life, they often feel burdened that having gotten to a certain stage, they feel that it is only a given trajectory, that they have to work harder, achieve more at all costs, even at the cost of their own health or well-being or family time. And clearly, I think what you're showing us, from being a successful actress, a successful singer who pretty much had it all at that age. And
according to the worldly definitions.
According to the world. And what is the one thing, and we're almost at the end of, what is the one thing you would give as a message to our viewers to say, well, this is what you can do to make sure that irrespective of your circumstances, you can still be happier and still be living in a space of gratitude?
Spend a lot of time with toddlers. Spend a lot with toddlers because they're so mindful. And when you see adults spend time with toddlers, I see them interact with a toddler and I instantly know what's going on in an adult's life. How not connected we are with our own selves. Stop chasing moving targets. You are successful the way you are. The very fact that you were born out of many little soldiers tells you that you are a success. Uh, the, the mission towards going towards being successful shouldn't be the way adults take it. Look at the way little toddlers are when they're walking. They're looking at other toddlers walking, and they struggle, they fall, they struggle, they fall, but they're not really concerned is someone else going ahead them. They're just happy in that journey. Up again, I fall. And then I go up again, and then I fall. It's so brilliant. So spend time with toddlers. They're so mindful. They remind us about the beauty, about being mindful, about really stopping and staring, about being great with strangers. And I love the quote by Rumi, that none of us are strangers. We're all friends on this planet we've never met. Stop having division. So your success should be mine. It's a very difficult concept, but we're working with corporates, some corporates who really love that. Wow, really? Is that possible? If I can get to that mindset that your success is mine, and we can train our children that way. But I feel that people who are leaders are so strongly conditioned, right, Kumar? Years of conditioning that this is what success means. I better have those cars. I better have those amazing numbers on my paper to show to my bosses, to inspire my staff. At all times, remind yourself, what is it that truly matters? What am I grateful for? Can I show up with these amazing soft powers? I mean, the research by Harvard tells you, right? What makes you happy? Great relationships, kindness, compassion, brilliant for your brain, brilliant for your body. And I truly believe, as a parting note, that people will forget how you look, what you wore. People will never forget how you made them feel. So at all times, go out there, make people feel valued, loved, respected, acknowledged, because we all want that. It's just that we're shy to say that. We all want to be acknowledged, and we all want to be seen for the way we are. Be your authentic self, walk that path fearlessly, and let me tell you, people will feel vulnerable with you. Do not fear vulnerability. That is the place of great potential to say, listen, I'm going through a bad time. And you don't have to really cry buckets and seem weak. It's being brave to say, I'm going through a bad time. I'm taking a break. Or, hey, I need some more compassion during this time. And do the same with your fellow beings. And that's the world we must aim to create, especially in our corporate world.
Thank you, Raga. That is such a simple yet not so easy message to follow, but certainly something that we should aspire to. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Kumar. Wonderful being here, and wishing everybody all the very, very best.
Thanks. You too.